Bill Clinton and the Democrats sweep into New York on the eve of their national convention. And Pope John Paul II enters a Rome hospital for tests. This is the CBS Evening News. Tonight from New York's Madison Square Garden, site of the 1992 Democratic Convention. And this is Bob Schieffer reporting, sitting in tonight for Connie Chung. Good evening. Even though he demolished his primary opponents, Bill Clinton seemed beset with bad news through most of this campaign year. But now suddenly on the eve of the Democrats nominating convention here, he is finding good news everywhere, all in one weekend. Clinton got a little boost in the polls. Jesse Jackson finally said he intended to vote Democratic. And Ross Perot stubbed his toe with an embarrassing gaffe at yesterday's NAACP convention. So the Clinton team roared into New York this weekend full of new energy and for the first time, real optimism. Richard Threlkeld reports.
The last time the Clintons spent time in New York was this spring's rough-and-tumble New York primary. But now the nomination's in hand, and today after church, the Clintons look like they were actually enjoying themselves. And why not? Last night on his cable TV show, Jesse Jackson finally endorsed the ticket, albeit reluctantly.
I have decided to vote for Bill Clinton and Al Gore, but to win, Democrats must inspire those who have yet to decide with more inclusive strategies and a broader vision.
And New York Governor Mario Cuomo, who has also been a reluctant convert to the Clinton cause, sounded today like a true believer.
The best candidate since Kennedy. I mean, what more would you need to be a good candidate? He's very smart. He's very experienced.
While they're tidying up the hole for tomorrow, the party leaders are preparing to spend the week making true believers of all the delegates.
They love this ticket because we Democrats are tired of losing presidential elections. We don't intend to lose in November.
They hope to use the next 4 nights of TV coverage to get America to stop, look, and listen to Bill Clinton.
He's the leader of his party. He's going to be the leader of this convention. In many ways, the way he leads the convention, he would hope to give examples of the way he would lead the country.
Clinton knows his acceptance speech on Thursday night must be the speech of his life. He's still writing it, but you could get a sense of his direction today from his running mate.
Governor Clinton and I are doing our very best to present a clear choice to the American people so that we can, as a nation, break out of this rut that we have gotten into and start moving forward again. I think that's what it's all about.
4 years ago, George Bush turned his campaign around with his 1,000 points of light speech at the Republican convention. This year, here in New York, Bill Clinton will have to do at least as well. Bob?
Thank you, Dick. As for the CBS News New York Times poll released tonight, the bottom line is that at this point it is anyone's election. So why are the Clinton people so happy? Well, Bill Plante's on the floor of the garden with the answer to that. Bill?
Well, Bob, chalk it up to a three-way race or to the very strange politics of this very strange presidential year. But voters are taking a closer look at the candidates earlier than they did 4 years ago. And that translates into bad news for Ross Perot, good news for Bill Clinton as people take a second look.
If the presidential election were being held today, would you vote for George Bush, Bill Clinton, or Ross Perot?
The president holds a slight lead over Clinton in a three-way race, but Perot has slipped into a distant third, exchanging places with Clinton, who was in that same spot 3 weeks ago. In a two-man race without Perot, Bush and Clinton are dead even. Clinton now scores well with Democrats, blacks, moderates, and liberals. He is competitive in the South, and clearly behind only in the West. Most of this survey was completed after Clinton chose Al Gore as his running mate, though the announcement may have been too recent to be a factor in people's responses. President Bush's approval rating stands at 36% overall, essentially unchanged. But favorable views of Clinton have risen among all voters, even as unfavorable opinions of Perot have increased over the same 3-week period.
As far as Perot is concerned, I feel uncomfortable because I don't understand what his issues are, what his platform is.
Perot gets low marks on the issues, while the president, and especially Clinton, are doing better.
I think the waffling at the beginning did weaken his position, in my opinion. But he seems to be, we'll see. We're going to hear more about the issues, I hope, this week.
Clinton and Perot do well, but not as well as the president, when voters are asked if the candidates share their moral values. 2/3 of those we asked feel Clinton is mostly telling the truth but still hiding something about his personal life. Even so, most feel that they have no need to know about it. Now, if you ask this question straight out, who are you going to vote for, the majority of people still say the president. But it's a smaller majority than in May. So forget the actual numbers. It's the trend that's important, and that's good news for Bill Clinton, bad news for the president and Ross Perot. Bob?
All right, thank you, Bill. The official proceedings at a convention take place here, of course, inside the hall, but what happens in here is only one part of what happens at a convention. We're going to get a report now on what's happening outside, and we go to Regina Blake.
Demonstrations are as much a part of Democratic convention history as nominating speeches. Whether it's homelessness, abortion, AIDS, or any of the other myriad of special interests, these groups see the gathering of delegates as a way to make their case.
The protest group's agenda is the same as the politicians. They want to mobilize their base, they want to energize their constituency, and they want to raise a little money.
This weekend preceding the official start of the convention has seen little in the form of large organized demonstrations, and there have been few confrontations.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
But with 20 groups holding official protest permits, things could change. And New York's police department is ready with 2,400 officers assigned just to the convention.
We've got legitimately everything else will be here, from the bomb disposal truck to emergency service vehicles to light trucks. Every piece of technology that we have, some of it will be at this convention.
Even though few delegates will actually see many of the demonstrations, organizers for more mainstream issues like the homeless believe their efforts do serve a purpose.
It will drive home the point to Bill Clinton and Al Gore that people are desperately concerned about this problem, that it should be at the top of their agenda, and that it won't be just written off as yet another special interest.
While most here don't expect to see the intense demonstrations that marked conventions of the 60s and 70s, special interest groups will play a role, if only because, like the politicians, they've learned to use the mass media to get out their message. Bob?
Thank you, Regina. On Wednesday, the leader of the African National Congress, Nelson Mandela, is due to attend the convention. He'll be a guest of Party Chairman Ron Brown. He is not scheduled to speak. Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, the latest on the other two presidential campaigns as our coverage of the Democratic National Convention continues.
To get rid of her gray, my wife can spend 40 minutes. But I discovered the 5-minute hair coloring.
The revolutionary discovery called Just for Men from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men and in 5 minutes shampoo out.
Gray is blended away. The look of my natural color is back in 5 minutes. That was me, and it won't fade or wash out.
My hair takes forever, but you look great in just 5 minutes.
The look of your natural color in just 5 minutes with Just for Men.
People loved the old type of granola, but didn't know it was loaded with fat. Introducing new Kellogg's low-fat granola. Lots of delicious whole grains, almonds, and raisins, but only half the fat of leading granolas. New Kellogg's low-fat granola. Great taste, half the fat.
If you want the granola that's low in fat, naturally you'd choose this one, new Kellogg's low-fat granola. But if you want the one that was overwhelmingly preferred in taste tests, you'd still pick this one.
Kellogg's low-fat granola. Better taste, half the fat.
Tears of pain, tears of joy. But when your eyes are dry, soothe them with the tears of Murine. Closer to your own tears than other leading eye drops or artificial tears. Murine, natural tears formula.
It's a comfort to know more people have taken Sominex over the past 30 years than any other sleep aid. Safe, simple Sominex.
Well, if this was good news day for Bill Clinton, it was catch-up day for Ross Perot, who stirred up that storm yesterday at the NAACP convention when he referred to the delegates as "you people," phraseology that numerous delegates called insensitive and offensive. Today, the message from Perot's people was he didn't mean to offend and didn't realize until later that he had. Bill Lagatuda is covering the Perot campaign. He is joining us now from Dallas. Bill, is this considered a serious problem amongst the Perot people?
Perhaps, perhaps not. They went out of their way today to repeat that Mr. Perot had apologized to the delegates yesterday, saying he didn't mean to insult anyone by his remarks. His Democratic opponents today were unusually kind to Perot, conceding that it was probably more of a slip of the tongue rather than anything racist. Few people have suggested that it was, in fact, or were in fact racist remarks, but clearly they were inappropriate, and I think this points up better than anything the danger that a non-professional, a non-politician has when playing ball in the big leagues. Perot continues to be disdainful of the professional political process. Yesterday, he told the delegates down in Nashville he does not employ a speechwriter. After he made those off-the-cuff comments to them, many of them who were angry with him afterwards conceded maybe he should hire one. Bob?
You know, already up here, we're getting reports that some of Perot's advisors are making clear that they had nothing to do with this speech, which I suppose is natural in any campaign when things go wrong. What about the reports, though, that there is some squabbling amongst the advisors in the campaign?
Well, publicly they deny this, of course, but you're quite right. You do get the sense that they must cringe back here in Dallas when Perot does speak off the top of his head. He has hired some of the most seasoned Washington veterans to run his campaign, but inside the headquarters here, they're wondering how well he's going to take direction. As we've said before, he writes his own speeches. Occasionally, he's booked himself on television programs. They are trying to change this campaign into a more smooth, more efficiently run operation as they begin their full thrust ahead toward the White House. One of the things they've tried to do is make Perot a little bit more accessible to the media, but he doesn't like that. They held a little press conference with him at one of the local airports the other day. We lobbed a few tough questions at him, and Perot became irritable and left. So you do get the sense that Perot does not like being told what to do. He may have to take a little bit more direction if he hopes to be considered a serious candidate as the summer progresses.
All right. Thank you very much, Bill. While the Democrats are preparing for a noisy four-day party here in New York, President Bush is spending a mostly quiet weekend away from Washington. Randall Pinkston now reports from Kennebunkport.
President Bush is deliberately maintaining a low profile as the Democratic National Convention gets underway. This morning, Mr. Bush played an early round of golf, attended church with members of his family, including his ailing mother, then back on his speedboat. He spent 15 hours on the water and the golf course, out of earshot of reporters' questions since beginning his Kennebunkport vacation late Friday afternoon. But not all the GOP leaders are on the sidelines. Today, the Republican National Chairman blasted the Clinton-Gore team.
Bill Clinton is the failed governor of a small state. It's as simple as that.
Democrats expect the GOP rhetoric to get a lot hotter if the economy worsens, and they are predicting Vice President Dan Quayle will fire most of the shots.
I mean, what else are they going to do with Dan Quayle? He's the attack dog. He's got to get in there and carry all of Bush's trash for him. Because that way Bush can look presidential.
Mr. Bush spends another day in Kennebunkport before heading to California to try to stop the stampede of Bush supporters to Ross Perot. Then to Wyoming and more fishing, this time with Secretary of State James Baker, who insists there are no plans for him to resign and take over the Bush re-election campaign this year. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, Kennebunkport.
Delicious. I'm surprised.
I love this cereal. These people are eating a high-fiber cereal, and they love the taste. Surprised? I'm not, because they're eating fruit and fiber. And as a nutritionist, I know fruit and fiber has high-fiber bran flakes, and it's the only one with plump raisins, chewy dates, walnuts, and crunchy oat clusters for a delicious taste.
Surprisingly delicious.
Post Fruit and Fiber cereal. Try it for the fiber. Love it for the taste.
Red Lobster's brought it back by popular demand. Our full pound of shrimp platter returns. Red Lobster knows you just can't get, oops, enough shrimp. 10 grilled shrimp, 15 butterfly, 11 scampi. A full pound of our biggest and best shrimp. For a limited time, all this shrimp is back. There's so much. You may need a doggy bag.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
Must be the center of town.
One of the nice things about our job is you never know where you'll go next. But the best part is when you knock on the door and see dreams come true.
Oh my God!
Holy catfish.
I want to go see my granddaughter. Thank you, Jesus.
We're the Prize Patrol from Publishers Clearinghouse, and we're about to go on the road again. Send in your entry now if you'd like us to make you a millionaire soon.
Here's a riddle. We like to eat, they like to eat. We like to drink, they like to drink. Chances are we'll suffer a heart attack. Chances are they won't. Their secret tonight.
The leader of the world's Roman Catholics is in a hospital in Rome tonight. Pope John Paul revealed he was ailing only hours before he was hospitalized. Bert Quint reports.
Pope John Paul II stunned the faithful in St. Peter's Square today, letting them into what he called a secret. He was going into the hospital for tests. I ask your prayers, the pontiff said, so that the Lord is near to me with his help. And this evening, the 72-year-old Polish Pope entered Sacred Heart Catholic University in Rome to determine the cause of what his aides call modest pain in or near the small intestine. John Paul was shot in the lower stomach by a would-be assassin 11 years ago, and conceivably there could be a connection. But a CAT scan and other tests have to be made before doctors can be sure what's causing the problem and if surgery is needed to correct it. The Pope generally gives the impression of robust good health, but his frequent trips to the far corners of the world are grueling enough to wear out a much younger man. John Paul was scheduled to start a vacation in the Italian Alps on Wednesday. His spokesman says he probably won't have to cancel it, only delay it, and hopefully by days, not weeks. Bert Quint, CBS News, Rome.
Israel's Prime Minister-designate Yitzhak Rabin disclosed his cabinet choices today. He presented the names to his Labor Party for approval. Like Rabin, his appointees favor talking peace with the Arabs and include, as expected, Shimon Peres as foreign minister. In what was once Yugoslavia, shelling resumed tonight in an embattled suburb of Sarajevo. Earlier, however, there was a brief truce in Dobrinja to allow the delivery of the first food in weeks. Bob Simon reports.
The first convoy to Dobrinja passed through a no-man's land which may be the most heavily contested stretch of Europe since the Second World War. Dobrinja has been a suburb under siege, a complex of the most ordinary apartment houses imaginable, blasted by tank and artillery fire for 71 days. 71 days with no fresh supplies. Even as the UN trucks arrived, women were foraging through an overgrown lot for lunch. An old man took an incredulous peek out of his window. Whole families took to their balconies to greet the blue-helmeted heroes. The Serbs signed off on a 5-hour ceasefire to let the convoy in. UN spokesman called the relief effort the most important breakthrough of their Bosnia operation, even if the amount of food they delivered today was largely symbolic.
We didn't have anything to eat. We have to eat some grass here. It was very dangerous to come out and take it because of many snipers and the grenades.
13-year-old Amir Tutic introduces his family. His sister, 9 years old.
She celebrated her birthday in the war. And this is my mother. And this is my neighbors. They lived with me all the time here. And they were suffering like me all the time.
UN troops weren't the only visitors today. A Franciscan priest came in to offer a requiem for the dead, a service attended by Muslims and Orthodox as well. The many new graveyards here are equally ecumenical. People are buried wherever there's a patch of grass, as close to the houses as possible. Dobrinja has come to be known here as Sarajevo's ghetto, and by early afternoon, those invisible gates were once again shut tight. As soon as the UN pulled out, the siege closed in again, with no notion of when another convoy may be permitted. But people needed the relief and the brief respite they received today. The Battle of Dobrinja is far from over. Bob Simon, CBS News, Sarajevo.
Never seen nothing like it. I mean, Rusty Slade was an ornery sort. Always ate his old bran flakes just for fiber. But one morning, I gave him Kellogg's new complete bran flakes. Weren't the same. More than fiber, they had whole grain wheat. Flakes were new too, crispy, crunchy. Why, that Kellogg's complete bran flakes even had a better nutty taste. It was all so good, made Rusty smile. Almost. New Kellogg's complete bran flakes. Fiber and then some.
I use a shampoo for dandruff, but my scalp still itches like crazy.
You need new Scalpicin, the revolutionary scalp medicine for deep scalp itch, not ordinary dandruff. Scalpicin is not a shampoo. It's a clear liquid you don't wash away like shampoo. Apply Scalpicin anytime for deep scalp itch relief with medicine chosen by dermatologists over all these dandruff shampoo formulas. Scalpicin penetrates to relieve the itch and help prevent flaking.
The itch is gone.
New Scalpicin, the scalp medicine for deep scalp itch.
There's a certain itch that's so private, most people will only discuss it with their doctor. Fortunately, now you can get new Anusol HC1 ointment. Over the counter, with the same prescription strength doctors have prescribed most.
For painful gas, which would you choose? Your antacid or Gas-X, the tablet made for gas? It's extra strength, 100% simethicone to fight gas faster. Faster than your antacid. Fight gas right with Gas-X.
2 conventions ago, the Democrats heard a warning in San Francisco, and that is where we begin tonight's Sunday cover. The inner cities, can they ever be what they once were?
There is despair, Mr. President, in the faces that you don't see, in the places that you don't visit, in your shining city. But there's another city. In this part of the city, there are more poor than ever, more families in trouble, more and more people who need help but can't find it.
In his keynote address in 1984, Governor Mario Cuomo warned his party about the plight of the inner city, the economy, and social unrest. Now, 8 years later, he is saying, "We told you so."
The way I see it is the Democrats don't have the right to lose. We blew the last few elections, and the country is in peril as a result of it. We knew in 1980, better in 1984, and certainly by 1988, that this ship was headed straight for the rocks.
Rocks that have taken the form of homelessness, poverty, unemployment, drugs, crime, and violence all across the country, especially in urban America.
The fact is that that which has been done to New York has been done by the federal government. They've withdrawn from our cities over the last 10, 12 years.
But there is a dilemma. A candidate cannot focus on inner cities alone if he expects to develop the kind of broad voter base needed to win the election.
Well, you have a candidate, Bill Clinton, who by self-description is trying to broaden the base of the party, which invariably means reaching out to middle-class and suburban voters. And when you do that, invariably you have that clash, continuation in some way of class warfare.
I think that what we need in this country and what the Democrats, I think, can provide is a national recovery program.
It's not fair to bring those homeless here.
On the streets, you don't hear fancy talk about recovery programs. Inner city dwellers tell you what they want is simple. They just want their communities back.
I am very disillusioned with both parties, and give us back the quality of life that we used to have here in the city. How about a little bit of that? Why do I have to walk down the street in fear?
Most of the visitors who come here this week won't have that worry. Extra police will be watching most of the areas where they'll be. Tour guide James Shenton says the visitors are lucky. They can leave.
When a person comes from outside the city and has to deal with the people who live here, they can't quite believe they're real. The place is tough.
Tough or not, Mario Cuomo says New York is a lesson for the delegates and for all Americans.
New York City is the country's past. New York City is also the country's future. You can see everything that's good, everything that's great, everything that's stupendous, and everything that's failed. We do not have the right to lose. We owe it to the country to win. We will this time.
Of course, Ross Perot and George Bush might not necessarily agree with that, but whoever wins this election, the problems of the cities will be there waiting for them.
Suddenly, vitamins are all over the news.
And 2 out of 3 adults don't get all that's recommended in their diets.
The good news is Total has 100% of 10 essential vitamins.
With all the vitamin news, I'm eating Total.
Morning breath.
As soon as I have my coffee, it's all gone.
Whether you admit it or not, it's a problem.
Okay, I have morning breath, but it doesn't bother anyone.
Don't be so sure.
Mine's not so bad.
Morning breath's not as bad as you think. It's worse. So get Scope. Its 2 powerful ingredients kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Was my morning breath really that bad?
There's no denying morning breath, so save your breath with Scope.
What if you could get the fiber you need for regularity in a crisp, delicious wafer? Well, now you can. Metamucil wafers. All the effectiveness of Metamucil, and it tastes like a cookie. Metamucil wafers.
Your pets go many places during the course of a day, and you can't always protect them when they go into flea and tick-infested areas. We can. Used as directed, Heart's Blockade for dogs and cats repels and kills fleas and ticks, including ticks that carry Lyme disease. By creating a barrier, Heart's Blockade prevents these pests from living on your pets. Helping improve your pet's quality of life is your responsibility. Hearts helps you do that. Hearts, everything good for your pet.
Thousands of Democrats are getting a real taste of the Big Apple this week. New York City has put out the welcome sign and dressed itself up as only this city can. Bill Geist now samples some of the city's offerings, from the edible to the exotic.
On the eve of the Democratic National Convention, New York is welcoming conventioneers with open arms and open palms.
Ladies and gentlemen, right inside.
The convention is supposed to bring in hundreds of millions of dollars, and entrepreneurs throughout the city are rising to the occasion.
What is this? This is the Ross Perot sandwich. 2 slices of rye bread, mustard, and plenty of hot air. But he also ran Jerry Brown. I gave him a ham and bologna sandwich because he's a big ham and he's full of bologna, most definitely.
This is the Bill Clinton. Pastrami, is it?
Corned beef!
Corned beef.
Corned beef! And Governor Clinton gets a nice big gob of mayonnaise.
New Yorkers never eat corned beef with white bread and mayonnaise.
I intend to send this to him at the convention when he makes his acceptance speech. We're going to give him this sandwich.
This businessman has come up with a practical moneymaker tailor-made for New York.
We're going to have a traveling vestmobile, as we call it, from which we are going to make available to them at a nominal charge the rental of bulletproof vests. We're going to also be distributing free first aid kits, including instructions which will be inside on how to treat bullet and knife wounds while they're in New York City.
Don't you just love New York? This small business has unveiled a whole new marketing strategy. Is this a special outfit for the Democratic Convention?
I'm doing this right now for the Democratic Convention.
What do you think the delegates are here to have fun too, as well as do a little business?
Well, you heard the old saying, all work and no play makes a dull boy.
Hey, all right. And what is Miss Glamazon looking for in a candidate? It's like foreign policy, the most important thing to you, or family values, or?
Family values are the most important.
Last week, the mayor even unveiled a new motto for the city. New York, it's all yours.
We cast a wide net here in our search for news. Later tonight, Bill Plant with the CBS Sunday Night News. Coverage of the Democratic Convention begins tomorrow with CBS This Morning, and Dan Rather will have live coverage of the convention Monday night beginning at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Bob Schieffer reporting from Madison Square Garden in New York.
This is CBS.
Every night at the issues that affect you every day. Eye on America, only on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Coming up next, police recover the body of J.J. Brings Plenty buried in a suitcase in Nebraska.